What the hey, Megapodtastics, Crazy Joe coming to you on a Monday following a brand new episode of Star Trek Discovery, or as we fans call it, Disco. There are going to be spoilers in this video for Star Trek Discovery episode 13, What's Past is Prologue. So if you haven't watched that episode, or any of the recent episodes, you might want to skip this video because I'm going to talk about it a little bit. When Star Trek Discovery was first announced, or first gearing up to go on the air, there was a lot of negativity. A lot of it from people who just didn't want to pay for the show and were angry that CBS was putting it on their streaming service. I was very happy it was on a streaming service because I knew that was the show's best bet for success, quite frankly. You look at Supergirl. Look at what Supergirl did when it was on CBS. It didn't do so well, and it got quickly canceled. Now, fortunately, CBS was able to move it to the CW network, where it's been doing quite well. Star Trek is not a CW show, unless you were going to cast it with all young 20-somethings. Like, Jason Isaacs wouldn't probably be the captain on a CW show. It would be someone more like Stephen Amell. I don't know. The demographic, it's just not the CW demographic. It's not what they're looking for. So whereas Supergirl could move there quite easily, Star Trek could not. So looking at how Star Trek or Supergirl performed on CBS, I knew Star Trek was not a good fit for CBS and would not be a success there. The streaming service was its best shot. I said that from the beginning, and the fact that it quickly got renewed for a second season tells me that I probably was right on the money there. So I don't mind paying for it. I would rather pay for a show that I actually want to see than have them give me shows I don't care about, quite frankly. So yeah, I wanted Star Trek back. I'm willing to pay $9.99 a month for the. I'm going to cancel my subscription when the season ends, but I'm going to pick it up again when the Twilight Zone premieres, because CBS All Access is getting a new Twilight Zone now, and I want to see it. So yeah, I'll take a break. I'll stop paying them for a little while. As soon as the new show I want to see comes on, I'll pay them. But if I get shows I actually want, I don't mind paying that money. So anyway, that's my own little mini rant. I want to talk about some of the other things that went on with this show. Early on, Jason Isaacs, who plays Captain Gabriel Lorca, and like I said, we're getting into spoilers here. Early on, he tweeted out that he did not care if the fans liked him or not. And fans went crazy. Fans were like, oh yeah, you don't care if we like you? Well, maybe you'll care if we don't watch a show. That's it, we won't watch a show, and then you'll care. Then you'll care what we think. And people were having this big freak out. And again, I was like looking at this happening and thinking, really, why are you guys freaking out? Because my opinion early on was that we were probably, I didn't know, but I figured we were probably watching a rise to power show of Michael Burnham. Because never in the history of Star Trek has the main character not been the captain. And for the first time, they told us the main character will not be the captain. And I thought in my mind, well, that means we're probably going to watch her rise through the ranks and become captain. Like, I never watched the show, but fans of House of Cards, I know a little bit about it, even though I never was a fan. House of Cards, Frank, whatever the character's name is, Frank something, Kevin Spacey's character, he started off in season 1 as a congressman. He eventually became president. So you watched him go from a congressman to president over the course of the series. And I figured that's probably what we were going to see with Michael Burnham. We were probably going to see her start off as a lower rank, and eventually, I figured, as the main character, she's eventually probably going to become the captain of the ship. Well, if she's going to become the captain of the ship, that tells you something is going to happen to the current captain, Gabriel Lorca. maybe he was going to get killed. Maybe he was going to not be a good guy, and they were going to find him unfit for command. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but I figured early on Lorca was not here for the long haul. So now we found out Lorca is actually his mirror universe doppelganger, impersonating the Alpha Quadrant Prime Universe Lorca, and he's a bad guy. We've known he's a bad guy for several weeks now. We've seen him do some very, very shady things. I don't think anyone thought Lorca, anyone who's been watching the show, I don't think at this point anyone thought Lorca was a good guy. So now I think back to those comments about when Jason Isaacs was saying, I don't care if the fans like me. And I was thinking this at the time too. I was thinking, I don't think we're supposed to like Lorca. I think Lorca is supposed to be a character that we dislike, because something's going to happen to him, and Burnham is going to rise to the captaincy at some point. I don't know if she's going to be captain right away. I think definitely by season 3, she's going to be the captain. Right now, Saru is the captain. I can't see him as being the captain. He's too much of a... Captain Kirk said, risk is our business. That's why what the ship's about. That's why we're aboard her. And Saru's not a risk guy. You know, his ganglia start going, and he's like, he's not a risk taker. I can't see him staying the captain. I think Burnham's going to be the captain. Maybe not right away, but by season 3, I'm predicting Burnham will be the captain. And that's been my prediction all along. So I did not expect us to like Lorca. I thought we weren't supposed to. So when these fans had this hair trigger response of, you know, going after Jason Isaacs for saying that, I was thinking, calm down. I don't think this is a slight on the fans of the show. I think he's saying we're not supposed to like his character. And sure enough, we weren't. And I wonder if all the fans who flipped out at Jason Isaac and hated Jason Isaac and were sending him angry tweets, I wonder if they stuck with the show. And I wonder how they feel now, because I would think they probably have to eat a little bit of crow now, because this is the way it was intended to be all along, and they're flipping out at Jason Isaacs for saying that, and they didn't have all the information. But if you're not watching Discovery, first of all, you just got a ton of spoilers, and that's a shame, because I warned you. But it's the best show. It's the best show on TV right now. It is without a doubt the best inaugural season a Star Trek series has ever had. And that's because Star Trek, I'm a huge fan. But if you look at all the Star Trek shows, really the only Star Trek show up till now that have a great season 1 is the original series. Next Generation, which is by far the most popular series, had a terrible first season. Didn't really start to get really good until the 3rd season. Deep Space Nine and Enterprise, they had okay first seasons. I mean, DS9 wasn't embarrassing by any means. It definitely got better as it went along. Enterprise's worst sin was that a lot of the shows felt like rehash of stuff we saw before. Again, wasn't bad, but it just kind of felt like, oh, I think we saw this on an episode of Next Generation or an episode of Voyager. And it's because, frankly, the writers were burned out at that point. They'd been working, mostly the same writers had been there since Next Generation. And they'd gone all through Next Generation and Voyager, and not all the same. There were a few, but you had a continuity of writers, and I think they were, especially Brandon Braga and Rick Berman, I think they were just burned out at that point and out of ideas. So again, the shows weren't terrible, but they were like kind of a little bit rehashy, like, hey, I think I saw this before. So, and Voyager's first season was just kind of terrible. Yeah, so this is the best inaugural season a Star Trek series has had since the original series, because this is the first Star Trek series that really came in and totally hit the ground running. And it's been just fantastic to watch. I got to give it more time. I can't tell you, is this my favorite Star Trek show? Is this my second favorite? I couldn't tell you that. We don't have enough yet. We've only got 13 episodes. I can't base a whole series on 13 episodes. Ask me again at the end of next season. If I got 2 seasons under my belt, I'll be able to give you a better answer. But it's good. It's very good. So, there you go. Keep on wearing those pajamas.